Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to all of you, and also welcome to today's class in our journey of 18 days, understanding Bhagavadgita in 18 days. Today we shall be covering chapter number 16, a very important chapter so far as Gyan Yoga is concerned. As we remember that first 6 chapters were dedicated to Karma Yoga, second section of 6 chapters, that is chapter number 7 to 12, to devotional service or Bhakti Yoga, and this is a Gyan Yoga. The basic purpose of knowing Karma Yoga and Gyan Yoga is how to develop your devotional service to the Lord. That is why devotional service chapter has been kept in the middle. So it is both the streams should ultimately inculcate into development of knowledge of Lord Krishna. That is the purpose, and also pure devotional service. So we have seen in the chapter number 14, Lord talked about 3 modes of material nature, and he said that one has to surpass 3 modes of material nature and attain the status of transcendence in order to rise to the Goloka Vrindavan or be elevated. And also he mentioned in that chapter that 3 modes of material nature, a person is in mode of ignorance, he goes down to the hellish planets and reverts to animal form of lower form of life. And if a person is in mode of passion, then it keeps on taking birth in this earthly planet and performing fruitive activities, so that there is no detachment from material substances, material objects, and enjoyment of sense organs. And if person is in mode of goodness, then he rises to heavenly planets, but for a short while enjoys the somras and apsaras and dance and all those opulences. But as soon as the account or credit account of pious activities or sukrati is over, he comes back to earth, enters into the cycle of birth and death again. So one has to rise above this bondage into the cycle of birth and death by transcending even the mode of goodness to rise to the level of transcendence. So how to attain this nature in the next chapter, that is chapter number 15, the Yoga of the Supreme, the Lord mentioned about that inverted banyan tree, the material, which is a perverted reflection of the real spiritual world, which is a straight normal tree. Akshay Bhat, or the Bhat Vraksh, that was imperishable but it was sustained by 3 modes of nurtured by 3 modes of material nature, and our desires were there in the interface between the two, spiritual and material worlds. So Lord wants us to cut down this attachment to the material world. And how to cut it? By the determined strength of determining willpower of the sword of detachment. So by detachment only we can cut down our association with this material world and develop attachment to Krishna. So in this chapter number 15, Lord did not mention about the fruits. We talked about the roots, stem, branches, twigs, leaves, tip of the twigs, everything, and some secondary and tertiary, subsidiary branches, some of which were going up, some were coming down. But we did not talk, Lord did not mention much about fruits. He just mentioned the pious and impious activities, which virtually denote the fruits of our activities. Now in this chapter, Devi Asura Sampad Vibhag Yoga, the divine and demonic natures, he is going to mention the qualities which are divine and which are demoniac. Now, why these quality or attributes in the living entities develop? Because of our association with material nature, or because by association we develop certain kind of mode, and that mode determines what kind of qualities we are going to have. We are having a divine qualities or demoniac qualities. So this is the subject matter of this chapter. It is a small chapter, but very, very important from Jnana Yoga point of view. And Lord also gives a lot of other other messages in this chapter. So before we let us pray to start, let us pray to Shri Radha Govinda, the presiding deity at ISKCON Bangalore and ISKCON Temple Bangalore, and also pay our obeisances to His Grace Shri Namnish Das Prabhuji, by whose mercy we are here listening to the song of love of Lord Krishna through Arjuna. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjan Shalakya Chakshurulminitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Om Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedant Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharni Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashadesh Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakt Vrinda. He Krishna Karna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapti Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prashabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome devotees, Prabhuji and Mataji, to this wonderful chapter, the divine and demoniac nature. In fact, most of the people in Kali Yuga have demoniac nature or demonic attributes or qualities. So as I mentioned that only extra roots or subsidiary roots were described in this inverted reflection of inverted banyan tree, Aswatham, that is Akshay Bhatt or Bhatt Vraksh, which has got secondary roots, which are subsidiary branches, which some of them going up towards the higher planets and some of them going to lower planets. Those were the subsidiary branches. And they represented pious and impious acts. Fruits, as I mentioned just now, was not discussed, but here in this chapter, Lord is going to discuss about the fruits in great details. So,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, you are not audible.
sorry, Prabhuji. I'm sorry. So we begin with chapter number 16, the divine and demoniac qualities. And first three verses mention 26 divine qualities, and that is Devi Sampada. So anybody would like to recite these shlokas, 1 to 3?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi Dhanam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyaya Yastapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodha Tyaga Shantir Apaishu Nam Daya Bhuteshva Aloluptvam Mardhavam Hrir Achapalam Tejakshama Dhriti Shaucham Adroho Natimanita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Bharata. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So these are 26 qualities mentioned here, which are labeled as divine qualities. And why Lord is telling here divine and demonic qualities? Because Lord wants Arjuna to be reassured that there is no reason for lamentation, and you are by fighting, you or your fighting action of fighting the Kauravas will not be a demonic activities. It is going to be divine. And moreover, it is Lord himself is directing him. Lord himself is directing. Lord himself is present there. So there cannot be impious activity so far as Arjuna is concerned, because he is a devoted and elevated soul. Now, what are these 26 qualities? These are Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So these 26 qualities we can see here, virtually all the possible best of the best qualities which are transcendental nature are mentioned here. Just in fact, these qualities develop, as I mentioned just now, that these qualities develop because the living entity comes in contact with the material nature and develops certain mode of material nature based on his past karma and the desires. And these qualities are, in fact, not based on birth. These qualities, Devi qualities, they are based on varnashrama and also on mode of material nature. If somebody says that Brahmana possesses all these things, he may, but the Brahmana is not by birth, he is by the virtue of Varna ashrama. So each Varna has got a specific duty to perform. Varna, we know there are 4 Varna and 4 ashramas. Varna are, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, and ashram are Brahmacharya, Grahasth, Vanaprasth, and ultimately sannyas. So for each of Varna and ashram, certain duties are prescribed in our scriptures. Say, for example, Brahmana, they have got 7 duties. First is performance of sacrifice. Second is performance of worship to the deities. Third is teaching all other persons the method of worshipping the deities. Fourth is about studying Vedic scriptures and other literatures themselves. And then next is teaching Vedic scriptures and other messages of Lord to common people. Then receive charity from others and also to give charity. So these are the qualities of a Brahmana. And Kshatriya, the qualities of Kshatriya are giving protection to the weaker section of society or to the citizens if he is a ruler. Then administer and rule for justice. Then levy taxes on the citizens and and recovers taxes, and to fight enemy and kill the inimical enemies who are hostile to the religious principles. So these are qualities of Kshatriya, and Vaishya has got 3 qualities only: trade and commerce, cultivation of land, and protection of cows, and giving charity is also Vaishya, because for the sannyasi people, they don't have any source of income, but the grahasthas have got source of income, so their duty is to give charity also. And Shudra has got only one duty, the duty to serve all these 3 varnas. So Lord has mentioned 26 qualities. These are called divine qualities. And now Krishna is telling here, Dambho Darpo Abhimanascha Krodha Parusham Evacha Ajnanam Ravijatasya Partha Sampada Asurim, or arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature. Now you will appreciate, so far as divine qualities are concerned, only 3 paragraphs, 3 verses are mentioned here. But for Asur, there is no end of attributes. So many demonic qualities have been described in this chapter, you can see. Now, before I proceed regarding this verse number 4, just have a look at this picture. What is happening here, that these 2 gentlemen, they are seated here, and there is an elephant, which elephant is considered to be one of the most powerful and strong animal. Just out of nothing, he walks into this place and starts hitting those people. He is proud of his strength. He is in anger, and he is so arrogant here. So these 3 features represent demonic qualities in the elephant here. So the asuras possess demonic nature, whereas the suras, or both sura and asura are born from Prajapati, but still asura possess demonic nature, whereas the suras, or they possess transcendental nature or the divine qualities. So what happens when, why he is so angry, this elephant, or why we become angry? Because of false ego. we develop anger. And why false ego is there? Because we are ignorant. We consider ourselves as something. We consider ourselves or identify ourselves not with our soul, but with our body. And body means material position in the society or in the government or the service, our wealth, our possessions. That is the deciding criteria by which we assess ourselves. So this is ignorance. When there is ignorance, it is followed by false ego, that I am rich, this one, I am rich, I am aristocrat, I am very powerful, I am very knowledgeable. These are signs of ignorance. And when this ignorance is there, that if false ego is there, then there develops anger. So these are representative of asuri qualities, or they are not divine. Now, in the next verse, you can, after seeing this one, we move on to next verse. Devi sampada vimokshaya nibandhyas asuri mata masucha sampadam devim abhijato asi pandava. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demonic qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. Now, Lord is assuring Arjuna that you are born with divine qualities. Divine qualities, that means if you fight, then you are fighting, killing the enemies, or your fight, or you yourself will not be possessing demonic qualities. It will be a divine quality to kill people who are on the side of adharma or irreligion. So transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation. So if you fight and kill the enemy, then you get moksha. And we will remember that Lord had in chapter 2 mentioned that if you win, you will enjoy the opulence of this Hastinapur kingdom, the whole, you will be ruler and you will be enjoying. And if you get killed, because a Kshatriya, if get killed in the battlefield, he goes to heavenly planets. So both ways, there is no loss. But since you possess divine qualities, which are conducive to liberation, that means you will be liberated ultimately. There shall be no sin or need for atonement on your part, because it is a war of religion against irreligion. So divine qualities make for bondage. What is this bondage? Bondage, as we mentioned earlier, bondage is repeated entry into the cycle of birth and death, and repeated remaining attached to the material world. So this is the bondage which Lord is talking about here. So bondage, one has to cut this bondage. And in the last chapter, we learned that how to cut this bondage, get detachment by the shastra of detachment, the that was sustained sangatyaga, that is detachment by the sword of that is detachment by the sword of knowledge. So that is, it has to be cut, material attachment. Then 16.6 he says, O son of Pratha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the demonic. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demonic. Now hear from me. So this word, this proclamation of Lord is so many times made in this entire Bhagavad Gita, that hearing has been emphasized by Lord Krishna again and again. And who is telling? Lord Krishna himself, the supreme personality of Godhead, who is the master of the masters of the spiritual masters. Now he is guiding. So an indication here is that whatever we hear should be from authentic source, from bona fide spiritual master, from person who has seen that, who is a Tattvadarshi and who knows the truth as it is. So this is importance here. So Krishna wants us, Arjuna, to feel and convince that he and his fighting will not be demonic. It will be a divine affair. Now, I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities, and now hear from me of the demonic qualities. In this picture, you can see that Lord is seated here. Then there are devotees, there are some people who are in mode of passion, and there are people who are in the mode of ignorance, doing murder and drinking indiscriminately and all those things. And there are people who are fighting with each other. So mode of passion, ignorance, and mode of goodness is represented in this picture. Now then we come, yes, Mataji? Yes, Mataji, please continue, recite.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidurasuraha na shaucham napi chacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. You can see the people toasting some kind of drink for each other, and they apparently seem so happy here. But this is not real happiness, basically. In fact, they do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done. The point here is regarding following the regulative principles as described in the scriptures. And what are those regulative principles? We know there are 4 regulative principles. Those: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex or sex outside the marriage. So these people, since they do not know the scriptures injunctions, they do not know that chanting should be done, that God should be worshipped, that God is present in our heart is in the form of soul and super soul. And what is our duty? We are part and parcel of God. We should not engage ourselves in material affairs. We should work for proud devotional service of Lord. So these people do not know. They do not know what is done. Neither cleanliness. Now, cleanliness is 2 types. Cleanliness, internal cleanliness, and external cleanliness. So, the people in passion and ignorance, they don't take bath, they don't keep their body clean. They use dirty clothes, or they repeatedly use the same type of clothes. They don't wash, they don't keep their all kind of apertures clean and neat and clean. So cleanliness, and second cleanliness is internal cleanliness, cleaning the heart. Heart is cleaned by chanting, by pure devotional service of always remembering Krishna and doing, never forgetting Krishna. That is how our consciousness, inner consciousness is clean. Not proper behavior, nor truth is found in them. So they are devoid of everything. Now, they are actually such people who are in mode of passion and ignorance. They possess the demonic qualities. The person in goodness, they possess Devi quality or divine qualities. The question is, now what is our role of our modern education? So our education is totally based on materialism. It promotes materialism. It does not talk about relation of body, mind, and soul. It does not talk about the relation between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entities. It does not talk about soul at all. So the basic fault lies right from the beginning, that what we have learned. So we are, and most of the people are either atheist or they are philosophers and scientists, and they believe there is no God. The Jagat Anishwaram, that is, there is no God, in fact, as a matter of fact. So the basic fault is that at our primary education level or our education level, what we are doing in present moment, everybody is intoxicated. Some are intoxicated by their possessions, some by their wealth, some by their education, some by their knowledge, or maybe so many other reasons also. We are all intoxicated. When we are intoxicated, then how the divine qualities will develop in us. We are, in fact, at the most, what we do, that we follow the principle of bhoga and tyaga. There in the Nectar of Instruction, Srila Rupa Goswami has mentioned that this theory of bhoga and tyaga, the 7 days a person works in the material world, gets attached, enjoys himself, eating meat, drinking, and all kind of vices. And 7th day he goes to church, and in church he confesses for all the sins committed in the past week, and then that is over. That is 6 days he enjoyed. He was in a state of bhoga, and on the 7th day he goes to church and tyag. He surrenders everything and confesses everything, and he detaches himself, or wants to detach himself. And again from Monday onwards he becomes. So this kind of bhoga tyaga culture is very prevalent in present society, because there is no education in relation to spirit, soul, body and mind, that how we are related. Yes, Mataji? You like to-
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
असत्यम अप्रतिष्ठम ते जगद आहोर अनीश्वरम अपरस्पर संभूतम किम मन्यत काम हेतुकम. हरे कृष्ण.
Yeah, okay. They say that this world is unreal. Brahmavadis, they say the Jagat Mithya, Brahma Satya. How Jagat could be Mithya? Because it is creation of Lord Krishna himself. And even Brahma is only effulgence coming out from the transcendental body of Lord Krishna. So how could the world be unreal? That there is no foundation. That means the world was, this universe was created out of either sexual desire, or there was some kind of Big Bang theory. And why this explosion took place, who was the cause of this explosion, they are silent on this issue. But they have firm faith what they talk about, that there is no foundation and there is no God, Anishwaram. This is mentioned here. Jagat Ahur Anishwaram. That means Ishwar, there is no God in this world. And God is not controlling. Everything is happening by itself or by chance. So such kind of, ignorance, the highest degree of ignorance, how everything is happening. We have already seen that how Lord, by just his sheer energy, fraction of energy, he controls movement of all planets and universe and places, and he holds all universe and planets in place, because their Earth is so heavy. This is which is a small planet. The other universes or planets are much heavier, so they are held in place by simple energy of Lord Krishna. So these people are scientists and philosophers and atheists who do not believe that Lord created this thing. It is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So their attitude is so blinding. They are so ignorant that they do not know anything. And also the tragedy is they don't want to know that fact from the scriptures. So even just taken, everybody knows about Darwin. Darwin was a theory of evolution, that how mankind developed. He says that the mankind or human beings developed from apes, monkeys and apes. So if they developed from monkeys and apes, then why monkeys and apes are still existing? They do not know that God has created monkey and apes. God has created human being. God has created fish, birds, animals, beasts, trees, insects, and birds, and aquatic life. So they are totally ignorant, and they produce theories which are just their own created. Which are not really based on any sound proof, or they are in science. Everything is still under research. Everything is under the process of research to find out the facts. Nobody knows anything. So basically, and such are our rulers also. The rulers also not spiritually oriented. Earlier days, the kings used to have a purohit in their spiritual advisor in their court. So he will consult. He will rule by the principle of religion, and in case of difficulties, he will consult the purohit or the priest who will guide him how to read. So such system is no longer in. We know the democracy and communism and so many capitalism, so many kinds of government which are totally devoid of any God culture. So this is like a blind person is leading another blind person. So following such conclusions, the demonic, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. This is an example. You can see that here this is nuclear explosion, lot of flame and lot of devastation all around. And not only for that particular moment, for many, many years to come, the sufferings continue to happen there. But this is a creation of a demonic. It is demonic to create nuclear bomb. Srila Prabhupada says that everybody is bound to die at some or other stage of time. So why enhance or the process of death? Why advance it? Why the science should not be used for advancing knowledge so that man can live longer and do devotional service to Lord? So this is our status, in fact, and we are all, in fact, in this state. Now, regarding meat eating, I would like to mention one thing, that there are 5 people. If we are eating meat, then there are 5 people who are doing sin. Firstly, one who is killing the animal. Secondly, who is selling the animal, the killed animal. Thirdly, one who is buying. Fourthly, one who cooks. And lastly, one who eats. So all these persons are subject to punishment under this eating sin of meat eating. And this is mentioned in Manu Sanhita, that these are 5 persons are responsible for. So, and another example, I quote from Srila Prabhupada's commentary. Then he went, when he was in Africa, he found there was great shortage of food grains. But the villagers were interested in growing coffee in their fields. So he asked why you are not growing grains, because there is so much shortage. The coffee is not a substitute of food. But they were so ignorant and so attached to this intoxication that they feel that perhaps coffee will survive them, not grain is not required. Though there was acute shortage and they were suffering, still level of ignorance was to that level. So this is 10. Verse number 10 here, you can see here, the demonic taking shelter of insatiable lust, pride, and false prestige, and being thus illusioned, are always a warn to unclean work attracted by the impermanent. And in 11:12, Lord says, they believe that to gratify the senses unto the end of life is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, there is no end to their anxiety. Being bound by hundreds and thousands of desires, by lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means, for sense gratification. This is the status of people who are in the mode of passion. So we see these pictures here, illicit relationships, right from the left upper corner. Illicit relationship, that is sexual relationship outside marriage, is called illicit. And this relationship leads in the doing away of the suchi, or the cleanliness of the individual's entity or existence. Second is intoxication, just below it. Intoxication, the austerity or tapas is lost. Then intoxication does not mean only alcohol, drinks, and anything like coffee and tea which contains caffeine. It is intoxicating. Caffeine is addictive or habit forming. That is also included in intoxication. Then meat eating. Intoxication, as I mentioned, it does away with our austerity. Then meat eating takes out compassion and mercy from our heart. And meat eating is a offense. And I just now mentioned there are 5 people who get the award of sin by meat eating. Then gambling does away our truthfulness, because gambling, there is tendency to cheat others and tell lies, so that our truthfulness is lost, because we don't want the fact to be known to the opponent party when we are gambling. So these demonic persons taking shelter from insatiable lust. Now the insatiable lust which cannot be satisfied by any means, because lust keeps on growing. Lust for shoes, lust for pants, lust for dresses, lust for house, lust for car. The pride, false pride, it is not really pride. And false prestige, that is ego. And being thus illusioned, they become illusioned because of these 3 facts: lust, pride, and false ego. Always a burn to unclean work. When these 3 vices come together, that person is not performing any kind of clean work, because he loses the suchi, he loses the faculty of reasoning and discrimination, that is the function of intelligence. They believe that to gratify the senses unto the end of life is the prime necessity of human civilization. So that is their attitude. They feel that, of course, everything is related to self. We have come to this material world. Let us enjoy. Let us spend every moment of our life enjoying the material substances like movies or entertainment, mobiles, and meat eating restaurants and all those kind of things. Thus, there is no end to their anxiety. Now, We know the people in the mode of passion, they work very hard. They work very hard to earn more and more. When they earn more and more, they want to fulfill their desires and their family members' desires and do the sense gratification. When some now at one stage, this earning more and more might become a off-track thing, and maybe might be doing something which is not required or which is unjust. So some kind of other misdeed may be done too. And person remains always engaged. There is no time for chanting. There is no time for deity worship. And person is always anxious also. Why we are anxious? We are anxious because we are fearful. Why we are fearful? Because we do not have faith in that Lord is our protector. He is our provider. So we think that we are the doer. So that is Prakriti Kriya Manani Gune Karmani Sarvasa Ahankar Vimudhatma Karta Aham iti manyate. Lord says that due to false pride, a living entity considers himself to be the doer. He is not the doer. He is compelled to do something under the influence. So it is the three modes of material nature which are the doers. And Lord Krishna is permitting, because he is a loving father, he will not interfere in our, he has given us minute independence to our soul. So illegal means of money, then for sense gratification. So the cycle goes on and the person ultimately falls down. Thereafter, verse 13 to 15, this is a beautiful analogy of picture here given. You can see the demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So he's planning to get more and more riches and wealth and material possessions. This is a mode of passion. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. So he's counting his balance daily, how much it is increasing. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemy will also be killed. So this kind of false, pride and arrogance and anger is in the mind of person who is in mode of ignorance and passion. I'm the Lord of everything. He exercises ownership or lordship over material nature which does not belong to him. I'm the enjoyer. We have just now said there are two enjoyers, the individual enjoyer and the supreme enjoyer. So real enjoyer is supreme personality of Godhead. We are not the enjoyer. We are just medium. I'm perfect. No human being is perfect. I'm powerful and I'm happy. So this is kind of false ego, ignorance, out of ignorance and out of attachment to material nature, person is feeling like this. I'm the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. Now this person who is so proud and is full of ego and self-prestige, he will perform sacrifice. He will perform sacrifice for the sake of publicity, so that people honor him and give a position of importance that such one is very, very generous and honest. I shall give some charity and thus I shall rejoice. So out of the ill-gotten money, he spends some money in charity and considers that it shall be beneficial, which is complete illusion and delusion. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. So such persons are totally ignorant because they do consider themselves to be Lord of everything. Now, this picture shows Hiranyakashipu here. You can see Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj in the left. Now, when he comes back from this Gurukul, his father asked, what did you learn, my dear son? What did you learn in the Gurukul? Because father had sent him for learning the art of warfare and horse riding and so many administration, but when he went, even the teacher who was there to instruct him also started chanting and remembering Krishna. He belonged to a family of demons. But now when he tells his father, sitting in the lab, that this is what I've learned that same Lord is within you and me, and I've learned that Supreme Person, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I've trained my all colleagues and students. Father is supposed to be the protector of the child, in fact. But here he is going so angry, you can see the facial expression. He's so angry and he is going to hurt him. Now, the picture on the bottom, you can see Ravana was a very elevated soul. He was very learned, but because of pride and anger, he had fallen down and he was killed ultimately by Lord Rama. So he wants to receive alms from Mother Sita, but he will not like to have anything from within that. This Lakshman Rekha, which Lakshman ji has put because he had gone to fetch some items from the forest. So he was also deluded because of he has so much of self-ego and ahankar and pride, and he was a lot of anger also. So this is the mode of passion. And then third picture you can see here on the top, that is Kansa. Now Mother Devaki was his sister, we know, and he was married to Vasudev. And soon after marriage, both the couple is being taken in the chariot by Kansa to their palace. But in the meanwhile, there is a, Akashvani, some voice from the heaven that the baby of such and such baby of yours, this couple will kill you, will be the killer for you. So he wants to kill the couple right soon after the marriage. But that wisdom prevails. Narad Muni is there. He said, why you to kill? Why not kill the children? So this is how they are, whatever learned, how much learned these people may be, but what kind of demonic nature was there in these people, that is reflected here. And they had even Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, and they had performed a lot of sacrifices and very serious austerity and penance to attain those mystic powers, which they misused basically. Then, thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, one becomes too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and falls down into the hell. So this is the fate that we are. Let us analyze our situation. We are always anxious. We are all around us. There are so many items of sensory objects are there for our sense enjoyment. And we find that everybody is enjoying. So there is a conducive environment that we also want to enjoy them, rather than thus forgetting our relationship with Krishna. Why we are here, what is our role here, and how can we get out of this place? So we forget, we are perplexed. And the result is, I told you, the anxieties are because of the fear. Anxiety is resulted to fear. Why fear? Because we are not sure of our own protection. Whereas Lord has assured that Yog Shemam Bahamyam, that whatever you have, I will protect it, retain it. Whatever you don't have, I will provide you, and I take responsibility of your Yog Shemam, that your welfare, spiritual and material both. But we are ignorant, we do not want to listen to Lord Krishna. Attached to sense enjoyment, falls down into hell. So next verse is, bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger. These are, again, demonic qualities. The demon becomes envious of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in his body and in the bodies of others, and blasphemes against the real religion. So what is real religion? The real religion is knowing the Krishna. That is our whole religion. Frequently recited verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 2, canto 1. Savai pulsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje. The highest or supreme duty or occupation or dharma, religion of every living entity is to know the way by which he can develop pure devotional service to Krishna. So, but these people are demon. They are not considering the divine service to Lord. They even don't realize that Supreme Personality of God is present in their heart as Super Soul, and not only their heart, but all the living entities. So they can see this picture. Blasphemes against the real religion. This is what happened when Srila Nityananda Prabhu was assaulted by Jagai Matha in the marketplace because he was imploring upon them to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but they were so intoxicated and sober, they were put in the category, you will remember, in the category of Naradhamas, the lowest of mankind. And they hit with a wooden, with an earthen pot. Nityananda Prabhu, he started bleeding. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know about it, then he came rushing and it became very angry. So anger is good at some times. Anger is good. How come anger is good? Because if we have anger, if when Supreme Personality of Godhead is blasphemed or somebody speaks insulting or humiliating words for Lord, or some pure devotee of Lord is insulted or humiliated, then anger is justified. Anger of Hanuman was justified in burning Lanka because he was angry that at that time that Ravana had stolen, kidnapped Mother Sita. So, and then how can we do second thing about the lust? How can we divert the lust? Lust for material entanglement should be diverted towards the lust for service and devotional service of Lord or love for God. So these are certain instances here. Here in the picture, this is again a repeat picture. Probably somebody will remember what is happening here in this picture. Can somebody explain, please? We have seen this picture before also. Any Prabhuji or Mataji, please. It's not possible. Why you should not remember? What is happening here?
It is about Shishupala,
Yes, Shishupal. Yes, very simple.
because his mother asked a boon to Lord Krishna, saying that even her son's 100 mistakes has to be excused, but Krishna always kept that count. When it came to the number of 101, he cut off his head with Sudarshan Chakra.
Yes, Mataji. So Lord Yudhishthira Maharaj is performing this sacrifice here, and Lord Krishna is the chief guest here, chief deity present here, the Yajna Purush. Vishnu Chupal comes, he starts blaspheming Lord again and again, 100 times, as Mataji just now said very correctly, that he insulted Lord Krishna 100 times. But there was the condition: if you cross 100, it is 101, you will be killed. So immediately Sudarshan Chakra cuts his head, and you will notice there is not a drop of blood falling on the ground, because this is the sacrificial arena, which is a most pious place. So Lord is so merciful that this sacrifice of Yudhishthira Maharaj should not go waste, should not get contaminated or become impious. So that he was killed, but not a drop of blood fell on the ground. So Shishupal is Lord, though, but one can understand that probably Lord is partial. Lord is not partial. Lord has said, Samo aham sarvabhuteshu na dvesho asti na priyah. That no, I am just equal to everybody, because Lord does not interfere whether you are doing good or bad. Lord permits you to do as per or enjoy yourself as per your choice or as per your mode of material nature. He is not partial. He does not take sides with anybody. So this was Samo Aham Sarvabhuteshu. This was we learned in the chapter number 9. So next verse. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Now this word envy again has come. What is the definition of envy? What is, anybody would like to elaborate? What is envy? Isha? One of the spiritual master, one of our teacher told in a class that envy is defined as by these two sentences. I like that you possess something, or I like that you have it. Just have it means any opulence or any material object. But I do not like the fact that you have it. That is envy. I like that you have it, but I don't like the fact that you have it. Why I should not be having? So envy is Isha. This is a very simple definition, but of course very elaborate and meaningful also. So, and Krishna was non-envious. Why Krishna was chosen? We have seen there are 4 or 5 reasons why Arjuna was chosen by Krishna. Arjuna was non-envious. He was a friend. He was a pure devotee. He was a surrendered soul, and he was following the instruction of Krishna. Most important. So that is why Krishna chose Arjuna for this message of Bhagavad Gita. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among the mankind, that is Naradama, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence. Lord sends them to the ocean of material existence. And we have seen that material world, as we go down deeper and deeper, lower and lower, it becomes darker and darker and darker. In the spiritual world, it is self-illuminated. There is no sun, moon, or fire to produce light. But in material world, we need all these 3 things for existence. And in the deeper planets, rather, we go to below the Bhulok, then we go to, Patal Lok and other lokas, 6 lokas. And those are darkest. So this material world is one of the considered to be the darkest. You will remember the picture study we saw that it was all dark there, a single picture, and the spiritual world was lighted by the presence of Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna says that demonic qualities. Now, as I mentioned earlier, why Lord is telling these? Firstly, he said, Arjuna, you need not fear. You possess demonic, all divine qualities, 26 qualities. Why it is being mentioned here, demonic qualities, just to create a further contrast that you don't have any of these demonic qualities. So whatever you will do you are going to do in the battlefield or you or your action in the battlefield will not be considered to be a demonic act. That is why he is explaining so many things regarding. Then the next verse he says, attaining repeated birth among the species of demonic life, such person can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the lowest abominable type of existence. And what is this most abominable type of existence? That is getting degraded into a lower form of life below the human beings. So that is the biggest degradation because this chance is very, very rare. So whatever we think, whatever conception of life we have, whatever activities perform on day-to-day basis, whatever desires we develop, we have to control and monitor them so that we at least do not fall down into lower species or hellish planets or lower form of life. So Lord is very, very merciful. Even so far as demons are concerned, I mean the persons who go to hell, different lower, even there is process of reformation going on. Whatever punishment or they are being given, that is also a part of reformation. So Lord, in fact, here says that Krishna is what is the status? In fact, even not in this yuga, in earlier yugas also, even Lord Krishna had to take 10 avatars, 10 avatars to rule out, to protect the earth, to protect the saintly people, to reclaim the persons who are in mode of goodness, and also to annihilate those who were miscreants, who were irreligious persons involved in impious activities, causing civilization a danger, and the religion had to run away to forest. Such conditions were created earlier also, and Lord had to take 10 avatars, 10 avatars to set the life in order. So this is mentioned here, verse number 20. Then, yes, Mataji, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Vidam narakashedham dvavaram nashanam atmanah tamah krodhas tatha lobhas tasmad etatrayam tyajet. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Tribidham narkasyadayam dwaram nashnam atmana. Dwaram nashna atma. There are 3 gates which nash means destroy or annihilate atma, the soul. The soul gets killed by 3 doors. 3 doors. What are those? Kama, Krodha, Tatha, Lobha. That is, Kam means lust, anger, and desires. Lust, greed, and anger. So these are three doors of narak or hells through which a person degrades into lower hell. Tasmad etat trem traje. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. And every sane man should give up these up, for they lead to degradation of soul. So they are three dwars which destroy the soul, atma. Not is destroy. They are lust, anger, and greed. So as I mentioned, lust not for material entitlement, we can correct this situation. We can control lust, anger, and greed, and direct them towards the devotional service instead of towards the material objects. So lust should be lust. What is lust? Lust is intense desire to possess something. We will remember that contemplation led to attachment led to lust. And when lust was not fulfilled, there was anger. When there was anger, there was delusion. And when there was delusion, there was illusion, and there was illusion of memory, and ultimately loss of intelligence, and person falls down into the trap of material world. So lust has to divert it towards service of the Lord, towards caring, worshipping the Lord, towards cleaning the temple, lust for preparing gardens, garland for the Lord, dress, food, prasadam, all these things. Then anger, we have already discussed. Anger is justifiable when there is some blasphemy of Lord or his pure devotee, like Lord Hanuman and the anger of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And greed to serve, not to satisfy our own senses, but greed to satisfy the senses of Lord. So these three things can be corrected. Every sane man should give up these up. So giving up, in this the iron age is very difficult, but we can gradually control them and divert them towards the noble cause, that is worship of the Supreme God. For they lead to degradation of soul. So this is another important point, that we can attain self-realization, that what we are supposed to do when these three gates push us towards the degradation of soul. So the man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. So how to control these three gates and go for self-realization? Controlling the three gates of hell, that is lust, anger, greed. I've told you how to control and divert them, and by self-analysis and self-control, and then when one controls these three gates, lust, anger, greed, then one should proceed for self-realization. Now these are the steps for self-realization. You can see, first step is acceptance of a spiritual master. Then spiritual master is Tattvadarshi. He possesses perfect knowledge of Vedas and other scriptures. So then under his guidance, like what Arjuna is doing, he's learning Gita by virtue of Lord himself. And we have spiritual masters, bona fide spiritual masters in our ISKCON, who can guide us and train us in Vedas. The day and night there are four types of gurus. One is Siksha Guru, the other is Diksha Guru, then there is Chet Guru, Chaiti Guru, and last is Chaiti Guru, and last is Path Pradarshak Guru. So Siksha Guru is one who teaches us, gives us knowledge about the scriptures. Diksha Guru is one guru who gives us initiation. At the time of initiation, we take both, that we shall follow 4 regulative principles, we shall do the 16 rounds of chanting per day, and we shall abide by the instructions of the spiritual master. And this po is taken in presence of the spiritual master and senior Vaishnava devotees. So study of Veda, then austerity, then control of sense organs, and ultimately spiritual knowledge. These are the steps through which we can have spiritual elevation of self-realization. So this, then, yes, Mataji, Tasma Shatram.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yah Shastra Tasmat Shastram Param Pramanam Te कार्याकार्य व्यवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुम् इहर्षसि.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
In picture, you can see Sandeepni Guru, Lord Krishna, and Balram, both are getting education. He is the source of knowledge. Both Lord Krishna is source of knowledge. Balram is his first expansion. Why they need a guru? Because it's to set an example for others. Even Lord Ram had a spiritual master who trained him in everything. So even the Lord, when Lord accepts the spiritual master, where is the we are material people. We are so for us come out for out of this material circle. We all must we must have a spiritual master who is bona fide, who is from his disciplic succession or parampara, and who has seen the truth, who has learned the truth as it is from his spiritual master and is delivering without any mixing or interpretation of self to the disciple. So Lord Krishna himself has said this example. So one should understand that what is duty and what is not duty by regulations of the scriptures, and how these regulations shall be learned by taking shelter of a spiritual master. Guru Krishna Kripa Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. ब्रह्मांड ब्राह्मते कौन भाग्यवान जीव Guru Krishna Kripa Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. How can we develop devotional service? By mercy of Guru and by mercy of Krishna. And the mercy of Krishna flows through the Guru. So this is the importance of having a spiritual master. One should understand what is duty and what is not duty by regulation of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. That means those persons who are in mode of goodness, who possess those Devi Sampada or divine qualities, they are on the right path. But what about the person who has ignorance and passions, who are full of these innumerable, demonic qualities which Lord has just now narrated? So if they know what is their rules and regulation, what they should do, what they should not do, by virtue of taking shelter of spiritual master, then they can gradually be elevated to spiritually. And how does this elevation take place? Elevation from the mode of ignorance to mode of passion, and from mode of passion to mode of goodness, and ultimately to sattva guna, or say mode of transcendence, which is called as ultimately the highest stage, which belongs to Lord Krishna. So this is how we can elevate our spiritual status, by following scriptural rules and regulations, and by following the dictates of the spiritual master. Sorry, I think that is the last slide. Yes. So we have completed this chapter. In fact, the basic purpose of this last few verses is that following the Shastra Vidhi, not Ashastrik Vidhi. Shastrik Vidhi means whatever rules and regulations have been described for different Varna ashramas in the scriptures, that should be followed by each and everyone. And this is what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, that as you as a Kshatriya have a duty to perform here in the battlefield and do it, it will not be a demonic quality, it will be a divine equality. And last verse is, hear, know, apply, and then get elevated. So first we have to take shelter of a Lord, serve shelter of a spiritual master, and serve Lord through him. Then we have to hear from the spiritual master. Lord has, Krishna has so many, tam shrunu, tat shrunu, so many now hear from me. Now I proclaim this thing. So he has so many times. So hearing is the first step in, and Prahlad Maharaj, you will remember Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Vishmaranam Padasevanam. That is, Shravanam comes to the first stage. So in ISKCON, we give most, even if we take up one sutra, hearing, or say Kirtanam or Padasevanam, any one sutra, our life will be liberated. So in ISKCON, the most emphasis is on Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam, always hear from the spiritual master, and Kirtanam means always chant glories of Harinam. So this is the solution of our spiritual advancement or elevation that we can achieve if we have a bona fide instrument. But asastrik vidhi is not permitted. We have seen the demonic qualities of people in mode of passion and ignorance because they are not following any rules and regulation of shastras. They act whimsically. Now this will be this is the stage set, the Sastrik Vidhi and Asastrik Vidhi for the next chapter. We know that it is a continuous song right from the chapter 1 to chapter 18. It is not aloof. No chapter is aloof. It is all interconnected. And one end of one chapter embarks upon the beginning of next chapter. So this is what is happening here. So one has to, the ultimate goal is get detached from material entanglement. Do it. Yes, we can't detach Peter in Kali Yuga, but do it just to maintain your body and maintain your body and soul together, not for your personal enjoyment, but for Lord's enjoyment. Use everything for Lord's. Whatever, even if we drink a sip of water, let us thank God for the taste which He has given in the water. So this is how we can gradually elevate the steps we have seen of self-realization in the previous. This is the stages of self-realization that can dawn upon us. So we come to end of this chapter. It's a small but very, very meaningful and very, very important chapter of Jnana Yoga. The next chapter will, now we have said that there are those people who are followers of the scriptures and the rules and regulation of the scriptures for injection, and those are people who do not follow. But there is a third category in between, who creates or conquered their own imaginary God, and they start their own worship. So this category, now Arjun is intelligent person. He is a very intelligent devotee. Lord has said that clearly here, those who do not follow the regulations of Shastras and those who follow this, what is their fate, he has mentioned here. But Arjuna is going to ask the same question. What is the third category in between the two in the next chapter, which we will look at tomorrow? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji. Any observation, correction, modification, or suggestion, or any doubts or questions, you are welcome to ask. I went a bit fast, might have missed a couple of points, but it is all so exhaustive that keeping everything in mind at this in 1 hour of period is not easy, it's difficult. Any question, Prabhuji, Mataji, or we shall stop? Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji. Thank you for your association and today's contribution in this chapter.
Prabhuji,
Yes,
Prabhuji, the attendance I think is not posted on the chat box yet.
Oh, is it? No, Prabhuji, probably might have joined late, but I'm reposting. I'm just copying and posting it again. You can see.
Oh, okay. Actually, it was posted earlier, Prabhuji?
Yes, it was posted.
Okay. I'm sorry. I got a little late today to join, Prabhuji.
That is no problem. I think you have to request the admin. I can't do it because it is restricted.
Shall I write on the chat box, Prabhuji?
Mataji, please repost the attendance link. Some devotees have joined a bit late. Chitra Mataji, are you there? Hare Krishna. Chitra Mataji doesn't seem to be.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji, please post that attendance link again. Some devotee, Prabhuji has joined a little late. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhava ev jai patita nam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Kot Vaishnav Panth ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled. all devotees. Hare Krishna and Tanvat Pram to all Prabhuji Mataji and for your association this evening. We'll meet tomorrow again. Hare Krishna.
Hare